All right, so this comment says, why don't you go work for a different district bus company? So 3 months ago, I put a post on Instagram talking about I might not be a school bus driver for much longer, and I'll explain why. So they were talking about the vaccine mandate this year and how they were going to force it on bus drivers and school officials and all that stuff. I've already explained my stance on that. If you want to go check it out, go check out my videos prior. So basically, I was taking my chances getting COVID. I got COVID. I survived it. I'm fine. So that was a good gamble. But also, the school districts are getting more difficult to deal with. So I had my run switch this year. I had an elementary school run that I did for the past 5 years. They switched me with another driver because that driver had to do other runs with other districts. And they needed an easy run if new drivers came in to fill in, like sub drivers. My run was the easiest run that they had at the school, so they gave it to him instead. And I got some long ass, drawn out, confusing, horrible run that was filled with kids. The entire bus was filled to the brim with 54 kids, whereas my old run only had like 35, which was much easier to deal with. If you're a school bus driver, you know that it's much easier to figure out 36 kids' names instead of 54. It's kind of hard. The parents on my old run were great. I never had a problem with them. They all knew who I was. All their kids knew I made videos on social media. You know, I was fine. This new run, and I say this very assumingly, but I'm assuming that their parents are the ones that got me fired because, like I said, I never had a problem before. There was just something about that run that was just different this year. The whole year felt off, but I digress. I'm getting away from myself now. So as a whole, it's getting harder and harder to deal with kids every year. It's getting harder and harder to deal with school districts. It seems as though kids are more zoned out than ever now that, parents don't want to deal with their kids. They just give them tablets and, oh, here, Timmy, go play with your tablet. So when you tell a child, stop kicking the seat, stop punching the window, stop hitting your friend, get out of the aisle, it gets very repetitive. And it seems like as we go on longer in time, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And as a school bus driver, we're there to drive the bus. It's very difficult to drive a bus and discipline kids at the same time, pay attention to them, pay attention to the road. It's a very, very difficult situation. And if you've never driven a school bus, you don't know. You can't explain to me how it's an easy job. You don't know. You've never done it. And I know all the school bus drivers who follow me are going to vouch for me in these comments. So the job as a whole was just getting harder, and I was just ready to leave. I was preparing on leaving this year. I didn't know when, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was getting ready. And the whole thing with the social media, with the video thing, the company just said, you're out, and that was it. So for me, it was like a blessing and a curse at the same time because I wasn't really prepared to be fired, but I was preparing to leave. So no, I don't want to go back to driving school buses. I just don't feel it anymore. That's all. It's not what I want to do.